Smartphones have come a long way. They went from to interesting to fun to cool, and now it seems like they've gone to really? It's almost as if these phone manufacturers don't know what else to do, so they think, let's just add more. To illustrate this, look at Samsung's Galaxy S flagship from 2016, the Galaxy S7 Edge. It has a single rear 12 megapixel camera, 4 gigs of RAM, 5.5-inch screen, and at the time Samsung was cramming the most they could into their flagship phones. But now, 5 years later, look at Samsung's latest Galaxy S phone, the Galaxy S21 Ultra. 3 times the amount of rear cameras, 3 times the amount of RAM, 24% bigger screen, and if this continues, Samsung's flagships are going to be looking like this in another 5 years. And that's what I want to talk about this week. Smartphone manufacturers have gotten to a point where there's almost nothing else to add to these smartphones. So the features they are adding, are they actually even useful features that the average consumer would use? So this past week, 2 smartphones were released, the Asus ROG Phone 5 and the Oppo Find X3. But there's 2 phones in particular, the Oppo Find X3 Pro and the Asus ROG Phone 5 Ultimate. These names, by the way, they're kind of getting out of control. That's another thing that's grown with these smartphones. It went from just using 2 words for a smartphone name. Now these phones have complete sentences for their name. But that's a topic for another day. Let's just focus on these features. These 2 smartphones were released and they look to be great. They're amazing. They're amazing smartphones. The Asus ROG Phone 5 Ultimate is designed with gamers in mind. It has a sleek design and it looks really nice in that storm white color it comes in. It has a 6.7-inch 2448 by 1080 Full HD display, which is surprising that it's not Quad HD, but it's not a huge deal. The display has a 144Hz refresh rate. It has a Snapdragon 888 processor inside. It has a 64 megapixel Sony sensor on the back that's capable of recording 8K video. It looks amazing. It's going to be an amazing phone. But here's one thing that got me. This phone has 18 gigs of RAM. 18 gigs of RAM in a smartphone. That's crazy. Would you ever need 18 gigs of RAM in your smartphone? I'm actually really confused about the amount of RAM it has. That's more RAM than the computer I use to edit this video has. Personally, I think Asus put that much RAM just to say that they have the most RAM in a smartphone. And if you get that phone, you probably will never need that much RAM. But that's just a case of manufacturers putting more into their phone just to say that they have the most. When it comes to the Oppo Fine X3 Pro, it also looks to be a fantastic phone. It has a 6.7-inch 3216 by 1440p resolution display with 120Hz refresh rate. It's got the Snapdragon 888 as well. It has 2 batteries inside, which allows you to simultaneously fast charge and fully charge this phone even faster, which actually that's a pretty cool and useful feature. The glass back has this all new design, which Oppo calls it gradient arc, which just makes the phone look elegant. It hides that camera bump. It really has everything to make it a great phone, a great flagship phone. But there's nothing really different about this flagship phone compared to the others other than the design on the back. Until you look at the cameras. It has 2 50 megapixel Sony sensors on the back, 1 wide angle, 1 ultra wide, a 13 megapixel telephoto lens, and here is the interesting one, a 3 megapixel micro lens which allows 60 times magnification. And I'm not gonna lie, looking at the samples, it looks pretty awesome. It's like having a microscope on your phone. But my question is, will you ever really use this on a regular basis? It would be cool to show your friends, but unless you're a professional that needs this on a daily basis and you don't have access to dedicated devices that do the same thing even better, you probably won't use this much. It's honestly like a gimmick. MKBHD talked about this in his video about the Oppo Find X3 Pro, and he asked, is it a useful feature or is it a gimmick? And that got me thinking. A lot of these smartphone manufacturers add all these cool features into their smartphones, but are most of them gimmicks? Or are they actually useful features? Well, both of these phones recently came out and both have different features that make you think the same thing. Gimmick or will you actually use it? It's almost like a marketing thing. When you make ads or commercials, you gotta say something about the phone or the product that makes it different from the others. But once again, I go back to how great smartphones have become. It's getting harder and harder to actually add useful features because most of these smartphones have all the useful features inside of them already. So these companies have to start putting things in that really are not that useful for the average person, and I dare call them a gimmick. And that's where the consumer kind of needs to do their due diligence. Do you really need to upgrade your phone from last year because the new one has 18 gigs of RAM? Probably not. Smartphones are great, and really we've gotten to a point where you don't need to necessarily upgrade to the latest and greatest just because it's the latest and greatest. But what do you guys think? 18 gigs of RAM, micro lens sensor, is this a useful feature or a gimmick? Let me know with a comment down below. Don't get me wrong, it's cool that these companies are putting in these interesting features into the smartphones that we have today, but I don't think these features should be the reason why you buy a phone. Thanks for watching, guys. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos just like this one on tech news, reviews, and opinions, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell icon so you don't miss any of our new videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.